Government agencies are still recovering from the tidal wave of demands for public services and support that overwhelmed the staffs and the IT systems at many organizations during the COVID-19 pandemic. One way that agencies responded to the sudden surge was by adopting artificial intelligence and machine learning tools. AI and ML are helping agencies analyze and automate a number of processes more quickly than in the past. And they are helping employees leverage automation to respond to demands on a larger scale. The efforts to pilot AI and ML during the pandemic are now building on other initiatives among agencies. That was the case in Illinois, says Brandon Ragle, who heads up the Illinois Department of Innovation and Technology.
One use case alone that we did probably early on, we had a chatbot virtual agent sitting out, and so far to date, it's seen over 20 million conversations, rating about a 90% plus success rate. Ultimately, what that tells us is that we're lifting the burden off the employees to do what we wanted to do, lighten their load out, to give them time to work on more of those complex issues they can focus on, because we're providing the residents, the folks that are calling in needing assistance, a self-servicing way of handling things. If we can handle 90% of their questions, that's definitely taking that load off of the staff, giving everybody a better user experience.
AI is much less cost prohibitive than you would imagine it is, and much less cost prohibitive than it used to be. In fact, what's really exciting is that there's so much great AI out there right now that often agencies can build on each other's work. And we love that at Google, being able to kind of build on the momentum of what already exists versus having to create it from scratch. And that's what I loved, for example, about what Illinois did. Is they really decided to start small, and start smart, and then in essence built on what they already had and really kind of leveled up consistently after that. Sometimes people feel like they have to have a whole new range of talent in order to make these things happen. So for example, data scientists or other types of data experts. And actually AI tools are much easier and much less complex than people think. Often being able to use drag and drop, types of tools. And I love that because I am not a coder and I don't understand that stuff. So I love the user friendliness of that.
The evolution of virtual agents is making AI tools much more accessible to organizations. For Ragle and other IT leaders in Illinois, it was a much needed relief valve to help government employees respond to constituent needs after the pandemic hit.
Like most other government organizations and probably many others, when the pandemic hit, we saw an astronomical increase in the traffic in both our websites and our call centers. We quickly realized, though, that this wasn't just a little blip or a little surge. It was actually quickly becoming a new way of life that we had to grow accustomed to and be able to adopt and handle. We focused on, the employee, the extremely high workloads and how we could use AI to kind of lighten that load. Another area we worked on, focusing on self-servicing the citizen, the residents that are coming in needing services. How can we help give them a more self-servicing and omni-channel experience when they interact with us? Then the last area we kind of focused on is making sure we hit our target audience. We know that there's a lot of different languages, native languages in the state of Illinois, and residents that are here needing services. So we wanted to focus on some AI capabilities that allowed us to support multiple languages. Some of the things that we're seeing now that we've been out there, we're seeing what I would argue the potential of, or expectations of, a reduction in cost through both efficiencies, manpower. An example of that would be the documents. We online have, like many states I'm sure, have a lot of old PDFs that have been out there for a long time, all just sitting in English. Now that everyone's coming to our sites, we needed to mitigate that. We needed to get them out of PDF format. We need to make them accessible, but we also need to translate those documents into different languages. So we used AI technology, machine learning, to really run through a human-in-the-loop approach of updating those documents. What would take human by themselves, days, if not months, to be able to go through and translate documents, we would be able to run machine language on those documents, translate them in a matter of seconds or minutes, and then just have a human validate, right, the intent and the language to make sure it's good to go.
Illinois is a perfect example of how AI helped to meet a mission. Illinois' call centers were flooded. Their portal couldn't handle questions. And what they did was quickly stand up using their FAQs, quickly stand up virtual agents on their portal. And then in less than 2 weeks, they stood up that same virtual agent on their call centers. And in the first 2 weeks those virtual agents were operational, they handled 3.2 million inquiries in the first 2 weeks.
Now, Illinois is leveraging AI for much more than pandemic response and customer service.
We currently have 6 different state agencies that we're supporting, and some of those agencies have multiple projects that we have going through AI capabilities. And we plan to continue to grow. To do that, we are implementing and investing in really an AI platform. We have an enterprise first mindset. The way to control our technology portfolio for all the different customers or state agencies that we support. So by establishing these, extensible platforms and tools, we're assuring ourselves a good, repeatable and sustainable way and a cost-effective way to be able to roll these same capabilities out to other state agencies as well.
AI is really not about a moment in time. It's intended to learn and to become even better over time, the more data that it ingests. And what I think is really important about that is, as public servants, we're really expected to be using more real-time insights, more learning than ever before to make the very best decisions. And AI is really a true partner in that. I think if you use, for an example, what Illinois did, but their focus on call center and getting that information into someone's hands, right? They were answering the call, they were putting those deposits in, if you will. But then over time, the AI might have started to give them insights around how people were really thinking or the language they were using. It might have helped them understand inclusion or how to kind of use phrasing that better relates with people and constituents. And that's the beauty of AI, right? That compound interest unlocks to help you know your customer better and help your programs be even more efficient.
The lesson we learned from Illinois and actually from other states is that states can start small. They can start with just their FAQs. We've seen some states start with intelligent agents like Illinois did, or other states started with quick intake applications in the cloud and then expand to other things. But they were able to start small and to implement incrementally, enabling them to serve their citizens and address the initial problems that we had with the pandemic. Using AI and ML can raise insights that agencies never expected. And they're also using AI and ML not just to automate constituent engagement, but to also automate tasks that their staff are doing, enabling them to use their human resources much more effectively and use those human resources on more complex issues.
The power of AI in government is its ability to give government employees more time and insights to support public services. As we heard from Illinois government executive Brandon Ragle, implementing the next AI tool is no more challenging than finding the right project to get started.